What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we continue through the DCEU and we talk about 2016's Batman v Superman: The Dawn of Justice, starring Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, Diane Lane, Lawrence Fishburne, Jeremy Irons, Holly Hunter, and Gal Gadot. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And like I said during the introduction, we're going to keep going through the DCEU, and we're going to take a look today at Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And before we get into that, I just want to touch on something from yesterday's episode of Man of Steel. You know, I originally said that I was going to do the Snyder Cut because I just was able to acquire that for Justice League. But after Jeff pointed out to me the fact that it is considered non-canon and the theatrical version, the Joss Whedon version of Justice League, is considered DCEU canon, I've decided to go ahead and pull back from that statement, and I will cover the theatrical version of Justice League when we get to that in a couple days. That way I can save the Snyder Cut for another day, another review. But that's enough about that. Let's get into Batman v Superman, because I feel like there's a lot to talk about here. And honestly, a lot of this film gets crapped on. And I'm going to try to come to defend a little bit of this. So let's get into it here, shall we? Our movie opens with a flashback to Bruce Wayne's childhood as he runs away from his parents' funeral. Bruce falls into a cave where a circling vortex of bats help elevate him back to the surface. Back in the present day, it has been 18 months since the battle between Superman and General Zod in Metropolis. And as a result of the battle, Superman has become quite the controversial figure. Bruce Wayne, of course, has operated in Gotham City as the vigilante Batman for the past 20 years. And having witnessed the chaos of the Superman-Zod battle in person, Bruce sees Superman as an existential threat to humanity. After learning of Batman's form of justice, Clark Kent seeks to expose him via Daily Planet articles. Bruce learns that Russian weapons trafficker Anatoly Knyazov has been contacting Lex Luthor, the mogul behind LexCorp. Meanwhile, Lex attempts to persuade Senator June Finch to allow him to import kryptonite, which has been discovered after Zod's terraforming attempt, so that it could be used as a deterrent against future Kryptonian and metahuman threats. Senator Finch declines, but Lex makes alternative plans with Finch's subordinate, granting him access to Zod's body at the Kryptonian scout ship. Bruce attends a gala at LexCorp with the intent to steal encrypted data from the company's mainframe, but antiquities dealer Diana Prince intercepts and takes it from him, but she returns it after failing to access the information. Now, while decrypting the drive, Bruce dreams of a post-apocalyptic world where he leads rebels against an evil Superman. Bruce is awakened by an unidentified person appearing through a porthole who tells him that Lois Lane is the key and urges him to find the others before vanishing. The decrypted drive reveals Lex's files on several metahumans across the globe, one of which is Diana. who appears in a photo from World War I. Bruce tells his butler, Alfred Pennyworth, that he plans to steal and weaponize the kryptonite in order to fight Superman, if necessary. A widely publicized congressional hearing is held, led by Finch, in order to question Superman's actions against Zod. A bomb smuggled in by Lex detonates and kills everyone present except for Superman. Superman blames himself, of course, for not being able to detect the bomb in time and self-imposes exile. Elsewhere, Batman breaks into LexCorp and steals the kryptonite, and then Bruce builds a powered exoskeleton, a kryptonite grenade launcher, and a kryptonite-tipped spear. Meanwhile, Lex enters the Kryptonian ship and accesses its vast database of technology. Lex lures Superman out of exile by kidnapping Lois and Clark's adoptive mother, Martha Kent. Lex pushes Lois off the LexCorp building, but Superman saves her and confronts Lex, who reveals that he manipulated both him and Batman by fueling their distrust. Lex demands that Superman kill Batman in exchange for Martha's life. Superman tries to explain this to Batman, who instead attacks him and eventually subdues him using a kryptonite gas. As Batman prepares to move in for the kill using the spear, Superman pleads with him to save Martha, which of course is the same name as Batman's mother. Batman hesitates in confusion long enough for Lois to arrive and explain exactly what Superman means, which allows Batman to come to his senses about how far he has fallen from grace, and he promises to rescue Martha, allowing Superman to regain his strength and confront Lex on the scout ship. Lex executes his backup plan by unleashing a monster genetically engineered from DNA from both Zod's body as well as his own, Doomsday. Wonder Woman arrives on the scene and joins Batman and Superman in their fight against the creature. Superman realizes its vulnerability to kryptonite and retrieves the spear, fatally impaling the creature with it. In its dying moments, the creature kills Superman, who's been weakened by the kryptonite exposure. Following Lex's arrest, Batman confronts him in prison, warning him that he will always be watching. Lex gloats that Superman's death has made the world vulnerable to powerful alien threats. A memorial is held for Superman in Metropolis, as well as Clark in Smallville, as Clark has also been declared dead. Bruce and Diana both attend his funeral in Smallville, and Martha gives Lois an envelope containing an engagement ring. Bruce tells Diana that he regrets having failed Superman in life, and then asks Diana for help in forming a team of metahumans, beginning with those named in Luthor's files, in order to help protect the world in Superman's absence. Our movie ends as Bruce and Diana depart the gravesite, and the dirt atop of Clark's coffin begins to levitate. All right. There's a lot of good here, and there is some bad. The most obvious bad is that they hotshotted this. Man of Steel came out in 2013, and Marvel had already completed its entire first phase by then, with Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and the Avengers. And we saw the slow build and the introduction of every single major character within those films. Be it Tony Stark, Iron Man, Rhodey, War Machine, Pepper Potts in Iron Man 1, Hulk in Hulk, and of course General Ross, who would come back later. In Iron Man 2, we had the introduction of Black Widow. In Thor, we had Thor, Loki, and Hawkeye. And then in Captain America, the First Avenger, we had Cap, we had Peggy Carter, and of course we had Nick Fury threaded through a few of those as well. So we had all of the main characters very slowly introduced throughout those films before we got to the Avengers. Here we went from Man of Steel to Batman versus Superman with a cameo by Wonder Woman. And if you really want to get technical, cameos from The Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg as well when Bruce is looking at their data files. So we've already got the entire Justice League within the second film. No. We needed to get a Batman film second. And if towards the end of the Batman film, we saw what we basically saw at the beginning of this film, with Bruce going to Metropolis, seeing the fight happen firsthand, kind of setting up his thoughts about Superman. That would have been okay, because that would have been a nice way to tie the two movies together, basically saying that the Batman movie is happening during the same time as Man of Steel. And then we could have gotten Wonder Woman, which introduced her story. And then we could have come to Justice League, if needed. Because Aquaman, even though he has a standalone, Flash, even though he's getting a standalone, and Cyborg, which, considering what the actor has been doing and saying since the last couple years, who knows what's going to happen with that. But they didn't need standalone films to introduce them. You know, there could have maybe been, after Wonder Woman, then we could have had a Batman versus Superman with Wonder Woman coming in and a little bit of exposure to the other three via files like we had in this one, and then Justice League. But we needed that slow build. Marvel put the blueprint out there. And DC was just like, well, that's them. We're not going to do that. That's the biggest negative of this film, as they tried to hotshot it. The positives. I don't care what anybody says. Ben Affleck was a decent Batman. Okay? He was better than Kilmer. He was better than Clooney. He's right up there. I'd consider him top 3 Batman. I'll let you decide who the other 2 are, but I would put Affleck's Batman as top 3. The other big issue I had with this was Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. To me, even now that I've gone back and I've seen Gene Hackman and Kevin Spacey's performances as Lex Luthor, I don't feel like Jesse Eisenberg was really being a good Lex Luthor. To me, his demeanor and his attitude and some of his arrogance and the way that he kind of already knew who Clark and Bruce really were. That kind of intellect really harkened back more to Edward Nygma, I think, as opposed to Lex Luthor. You know, if you had told me that Jesse Eisenberg was playing Edward Nygma and he would eventually become the Riddler, I could have believed that. I didn't buy him as Lex. Personal opinion. But I feel like, considering what we were given, considering that DC and Warner Brothers decided to not slow build, I still feel it was a good story. It set up Batman's motives for why he did not trust Clark, why he did not trust Superman. It made perfect sense. And I feel that the way that they did decide to introduce everybody, you know, already in the events of Man of Steel, Bruce comes to Metropolis and sees the destruction firsthand. Diana appearing at the gala, you know, Lex trying to get the kryptonite, and all the little things that they weaved in this story, I feel like they weaved it very well. I'm curious to see what you guys think out there. Let me know. Tell me your thoughts, because this film and tomorrow's film specifically really seem to get crapped on a lot. And I don't think that it's deserving of the crap that they get. Again, aside from the fact that this movie was hot-shotted, I will never dispute that. Hell, I've said 100 times to friends, and I think I've even mentioned it on my show or on Renegades Recap with Jeff, DC had more than enough time to set up a Justice League before Marvel started getting successful with the Avengers. Back in the 70s, when you had Christopher Reeve's Superman, when you had Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, Adam West was still in decent physical shape and could have come back as an older Bruce Wayne. Justice League. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, Christopher Reeve had not had his accident yet by the time Michael Keaton took over the Cal and played Batman for at least 89, and I'm not sure if the accident had occurred by Batman Returns or not. So you could have had an appearance by Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent in either of those films, definitely at least Batman 89. And you could have casted somebody as Wonder Woman, Justice League. When Brandon Routh took over the role for Superman Returns, Batman Begins had been a year earlier with Christian Bale. Hire an it girl to be Wonder Woman, Justice League. Superman Returns was 2006, 2 years before Iron Man. And we had just gotten Batman Begins, Superman Returns, give us a Wonder Woman film. Bam. DC had the time and the opportunity, but they didn't realize what they had until Marvel did it first. That will forever be DC's downfall when it comes to theatrical films. But like I said, I feel this movie gets crapped on way too much. I want to know what you guys think. But when it comes to my rating for this film, I honestly give it 4 out of 5 stars. I feel that it's a really, really good movie that does not get the credit it deserves. What do you guys think out there? If you're watching along with the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching along a little bit later in the day on demand, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Whatever you do, though, when you get out there on social media, let's try to get those hashtags trending. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, and of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade JJ Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag StatBoyApproved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. When we take a look at another film that I feel gets crapped on a lot, very unfairly, Suicide Squad, starring Margot Robbie, Will Smith, Jared Leto, Viola Davis, and so many others. You're not going to want to miss out tomorrow. Right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel. Right back here for another all-new episode of Renegades Reviews when I take a look at the Suicide Squad. To all my loyal fans and viewers out there tuning in for the premiere, leaving your thoughts and comments over here, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Likewise, all my loyal fans and viewers out there that tune in just a little bit later in the day, watching on demand, leaving your thoughts and comments down here. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all my loyal fans and viewers that tune in on a regular basis. Show me that love, show me that support. Watch the show, trying to help me get those views up so I can eventually get monetized and make some money out of this venture. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining me today, and I will see you guys next time.